Call the special regular council meeting of Monday, July the 6th to order. There is an agenda there in front of you. Can I have a motion, please, to adopt the agenda? Councilors Forrester and Ady. Any additions or deletions? All in favor? Any opposed? It's carried. Now an opportunity for any member of the public who wants to address council on any item that's on the agenda to come forward at this time. If you want to address council on the items on the agenda, you're more than welcome to come to the microphone. No? Oh, a copy of the agenda. Well, I mean, I can make it pretty simple. There's the sale of the, yeah. I'm sure you want to come and address the issue, so we can make it pretty simple.
Yeah, there's just no agenda downstairs.
Yeah, yeah. It under 6A, it's a report with regards to the property purchase. If you want to address council, this would be your time.
I just wanted to make sure I was on the agenda.
So have a seat, identify yourself, and then actually first turn on the microphone. Just push the button there. Yeah, and just pull it a little bit closer to you. Yeah. Identify yourself and take it away.
Okay, my name is Amy Lashik. I'm one of the owners of Dolly's Fish Market with my husband, Fabio Paponio, who's not here today. So we just want to address City Council regarding the sale of Lot 6 and Lot 14. So thank you for the opportunity to speak. In 2023, we came before this council, the exact council that's here today, with a proposal to purchase Lot 6 and 14 as part of a long-term expansion for plans for Dolly's Fish Market. Council responded positively to our proposal and encouraged us to continue working with city staff. We did not walk away from this purchase. We continue to work with the city, but the requirements continued to change and additional conditions were added. We were told Lot 14 could not be sold because the neighboring businesses required access. For Lot 6, we were told no temporary storage, that would not meet the clause, despite proposing a 3-phase development plan. We had to build within a set time frame or risk the property being reverted back to the city. We were given 2 years and this was extended to 3 years. We were also required to build a back lane, extend the utilities from George Hills Way because we were told we could not consolidate Lot 6 with our existing property. Then the boardwalk requirement was added, but we could not get drawings or answers that we needed to understand how this would impact our development plans or liquor licensing. We were preparing to move forward with the appraisal process when the communication from the city ceased. We did not abandon our interest in this property. We relied on what the city told us and we believe those conditions still applied. The council members who heard our proposal today remain on the council today. The city personnel involved in the process are still the people involved today. We were never contacted or told that the city's position on these properties or the conditions for their sale and development had changed. We learned that the city was proposing to sell these same properties to Gagatla Enterprise Corporation under what appears to be different conditions, so we acted immediately. We now understand that Lot 6 was to be used for storage and then consolidated with the existing properties, options that we were told were not available to us. We believe this is fundamentally unfair. We support economic development and we support the proposed boardwalk. We are not here to stop progress. We are here because we believe there is a solution that allows both businesses to succeed. Our preference is to purchase Lot 6 and Lot 14. If that's not possible, we are asking City Council to consider selling us all Lot 6 and a portion of Lot 14, which allows Dolly's Fish Market to continue operating, expanding, and investing in Prince Rupert. Our question to City Council is simple. Why were we held to one set of standards while different standards now appear to apply to the same properties? We are asking council for fairness, consistency, and the opportunity to provide a solution that works for everyone before making a final decision.
Thank you very much. Is there anyone else that wants to come? Nobody's moving, so we will declare the public comment period over, and we move on to the consent agenda. There's a report for receipt, report from the Chief Administrative Officer for follow-up to council inquiries. That's the only item on the agenda. The recommendation is that all items on the consent agenda be approved and received as requested. Councilors Cunningham and Ady, any discussion? All in favor? Any opposed? It's carried. We have a report from the Chief Administrative Officer with regards to Getsala Enterprise property purchase. Recommendation is that council receives this report and directs staff to, and forgive me, there's a bit of reading here, but I'll do it. Proceed to execute a purchase and sale agreement for the lots and lane surrounding the Rona property, closed laneway behind 405 3rd Avenue East to 18 Cow Bay Road, PID 10125323998, PID 012542024, PID 012542032, PID 012532410, PID 012594300, PID 012521507, PID 012594334. That's one bullet. The second bullet is proceed to execute a purchase and sale agreement for Lot 2 and the First Avenue access property, PID 027197166. Closed laneway behind 200 First Avenue West, Crest Chances entrance. Can I have a motion, please, to that effect? Councilors Ady, Councilors Niche. Discussion. Comments or questions? Councilor Ady.
I think it's only fair to address the concerns that have been expressed. And I do so appreciating that at times we find ourselves in a position where we have to make choices, and one choice or the other will not please the other side. It is my understanding that there has been a significant amount of dialogue between the owners of Dolly's and the Gitcatla Enterprise Corporation regarding how to make that that initiative work for both parties. And I think that is that collaboration, that conversation is ongoing. I think the letters of concern from Lac Wallams, I think, raise issues that we're perhaps not qualified to be experts on here with regard to legal questions. And I will say that I think that wherever a First Nation or other entity has questions that look for legal resolution, they're absolutely encouraged to seek those answers. I think that's part of the world we live in. The difficulty for me is that in the meantime, we have to continue governing. And I think that's why we have these decisions before us. And it's why I think that we're at a point where we need to make a decision. So I'll leave it at that.
Thank you. Councilor Cunningham.
Okay, when this first came up, I was talking about the easement. And I'm assuming that's lot 14. We don't
Correct.
have those numbers on here. Now, which is lot 6? Is that the one immediate?
It's the one close to the Cow Bay Slough, Sheaopuchi. He's looking through. It's the one over closer to the Cow Bay.
Yeah, well, you know, on our map here, you've got a piece of property that looks like it's already owned by Rona, right behind Dolly's. Is that correct? So if you give them an easement on lot 14, how big's that easement going to be?
Sorry, if what?
how big would that easement be? Like, usually easements, it's a driveway sort of thing.
On 14?
Yeah, that's the lot going into the lots now.
I can't say. CEO Pucci.
Thank you, Mayor. So the reciprocal easement that would be placed on the property between beside Dolly's would be for the entire lot. So it would be, so there's a lot the size. It's not a road right of way, and so the reciprocal easement would go on there to allow reciprocal and unfettered access associated with that.
So there'd be no construction whatsoever or permanent buildings on lot 14.
Correct. I just want to make sure that that lot is the correct number for that lot, but the lot that you're talking about, that
Is the one that goes
that,
in.
yeah, it goes in, that one would have the reciprocal easement on it, which would have conditions on how it is upkept and maintenance on it, for instance, and unfettered access associated with it.
Okay, now, so the back of Dolly's is actually right on the property line of the existing property that Rona has now.
Correct.
Correct.
Okay.
Any other comments or questions? Councillor Niche.
I know this discussion came up when the first proposal came to us a couple years back there, and my comments then are similar to the comments now, except for the difference being that the proponent this time has proposed to allow for access, where the previous proponent had no consultation or anything with the other owners that would provide access to it. So, if you go back 40 years when Rona was built, the reality is that this probably should have been turned into a road access. But back then, things were done differently, and it was like, I shake your hand, you shake mine. Yeah, you can use it for a road. Nowadays, that doesn't seem to work as well, and so it never actually was a road. So it's actually a building lot. So if currently the city owns that lot, but if anybody whoever owns that lot could technically sell that property, and you could build full in front of that both buildings and block full access to everything. It just happens to be that the city owns it. So I think in the proposal, we are stating that they need to come to an agreement and allow that access to happen still. So that was my concern the first proposal, and it's been my concern on this one as well, that there needs to be access to both businesses, because we don't want that to affect either business. We want both businesses to succeed, and we do not want them to fail. People have been trying to buy these properties, and including Rona. I believe Rona has been trying to buy these properties, and including the property that the city now owns that never used to own. They've been trying to buy these properties for 4 decades. So, and I think throughout time you have different administrations and different councils and different thoughts of process, and some people don't want to sell and some people want to lease, and sometimes the stars have to align for it to happen. And the previous proposal had I believe, a 9-year request on originally for building something, and that's a long time for speculation to let something sit for 9 years. And typically we've been offering a 2-year reverter clause. So the reverter clause was extended on the last proposal and wasn't used, or was chosen not to proceed because that wasn't going to work with their plans. So the current one has the reverter clause where they have to have the building permit within 2 years. So, I am being supportive of this project because I feel that overall it will allow access to both businesses, allow both businesses to thrive, and also allow for access, into the building. And I'm sure that there may be other options to maybe even help with access in other parts of the building as well. So.
Councillor Forster.
Thanks, Mr. Mayor. I have a couple of questions and I wonder if I could just go through one at a time so that then I don't,
Sure,
thank you.
let's do that.
First one, I'm wondering if somebody could help me understand. We had a member of the public share that they feel that different rules are being applied to one sale versus another. Can we have an understanding of that?
CAO Pucci.
Thank you, Mayor. So, council heard a proposal from one party. The party worked with staff. The previous CAO, they worked on that proposal, and my understanding, I mean, I wasn't intimately involved with it, but it ran out of steam. There wasn't a lot of communication after a certain point. There was nothing written or no agreements that were signed. That property then was looked at again by another neighboring property, which is the one we're looking at today, came forward. They put a proposal in. Council heard that as well, decided to give direction again, and staff have been working through that actively as part of as part of the resolution that came forward. I don't think that there's been any unfair work done here. I think that the proposals were viewed. It's a two-way street. If there was more activity with the other one and it kept going and came and flourished and all that, then we would have brought it back. However, in my understanding, it just sort of petered out. So that's where we are today.
Yeah, and I think maybe just for education of the public broadly, right? It is the policy of council to have a two-year reverter on all land sales. And the thinking behind that is, we don't want people to just buy our land and then sit on it. We can sit on it. if we can hold it and then look for the best alternative for the community. Where the benefit to the community comes is if there's actually some construction that takes place on the property, right? So the 2-year reverter clause is common. It's what we do on all our land. Next question.
Thanks. So with that, if I was to see a property somewhere in our town that was available for sale,
Yep.
and put in a proposal,
Yep.
if I was to work with staff, is there a set amount of time that I would work with them before a decision has to be made about whether or not I'm going to go through with it? Or is it at the discretion of the staff working on the file? How does that work?
CAO Pucci.
Thank you, Mayor. So I don't think there's a set amount of time associated with it, but I think there has to be activity continuously happening on the file. So the previous time that council was engaged in, for instance, in this one, it was in 2023. A lot of time has passed since 2023, and there hadn't been any communication that we're aware of. And so I don't think it's a set amount of time. However, staff aren't proactively pushing people that are bringing in proposals. Hey, you need to give me this. Hey, you need to give me this. Or, it is up to the proponent that's coming forward to actively, engage staff and deliver what is part of those proposals so that we can then bring it forward to the council.
Next question.
Thank you. Looking at the map that's within the agenda, the proposed disposition of municipal lands, several of these properties look like they overlap on different things. So I might be wrong, but this bottom one I think is PID 012542-024. It's where there's 3 in a row, a small one,
Right.
a bigger one, and then a different one.
Right. The ones that we would consider to be adjacent to and even in fact on the Calvé Slough.
Yes, and so I think my question about that one, as well as the long skinny one, which is the property road disclosure bylaw one.
Right.
All of these look like they're overlapping buildings that currently exist. I don't know that I understand that.
Yep.
For my benefit and the benefit of anybody looking at this map.
Yep.
Can you help me understand why that would be, because I would assume, and it's my inexperience as somebody who doesn't build things, I can't just go and build something on somebody else's property.
Right.
But this map makes it look like that's happened in at least 3 of these properties. If I'm looking at them, the great one that it looks like it's Rona, the back end of it looks like it's on the long skinny lot.
Yep.
The one that's going to be the access way, 0125 through to 410, looks like it's already on top of part of a property.
Yep.
And the other back one does as well.
Yep.
So I don't understand that.
CAO Pucci.
These aren't survey maps. These are just pulled off of aerials, so and trace. So these aren't going to be accurate. That those are. I know it's not depicted the best way, but that is just it's a layer we have on our cadastral system that it generates the outline of building footprints so that we can more or less see if there's a building on a lot or not. So what we've done is turned on one of those functions, which has overlaid everything, but it's done from our aerials and sort of from a tracing thing. So that's not, these aren't overlapping like that.
Is
Okay,
it
so-
possible that some additions have creeped in over time?
It is possible.
Yeah.
It is possible. But when we even send out our aerial mapping, we note that they can be between 1 and 2 meters off because these things are taken from a satellite image and they'll be on an angle as well. So they'll actually import them a little skewed. So we have had surveying done out there, and from my understanding is that there isn't anything in trespass from legitimate on the ground survey.
So,
Just a
yeah.
comment from over here, Councillor.
I mean, I know the area fairly well, and I mean, I can kind of look at this picture and give you a comment just so you have maybe an idea. But I mean, you know, like I said, 40 years ago or so, when they built the Rona property, they probably had the handshake deal. Well, hey, you can use that road, and the Dolly's property actually used to be owned by the same owners of Rona, and when times were tough, they actually sold that property because they needed the money. So you know, they sold that building off. So you know, at one point, that building was being used by the same owners of one. So,
Okay.
but the property lines are the property lines on, you know, the official. But you know, if you look at the Dolly's property, there's a side door and a side entrance, which technically exits onto, you know, essentially a private lot, which, you know, probably isn't the best thing, but that's just the way that they had done it, right? And then the one little piece that sticks onto the biggest lot of the 3 you were talking about, that's like a thrown together storage shed that Rona uses for siding. I mean, I wouldn't even call it a building. I'd call it more like a scabby old shed that's been there for many, many, many years that they would love to have replaced, but they could never purchase the property. And they tried for 40 years to buy the property. So, you know, and then on the back of Rona, that piece that's on the skinny one, all that is basically shelves that hold lumber. So it's not actually a building. It's just like a big shelving unit that holds the lumber, but they've put it onto their survey drawings for some reason. So just a little bit of clarification for you.
I think that's really helpful because I looked at this with a friend who immediately said the same thing. Why are all the properties on top of each other?
Yeah.
And so I just wonder if there's perhaps in future a way we can make that clearer, because if this is in our council package and we're going through it and I'm looking at it to make my decision, it makes me wonder what's happening here.
Mm-hmm.
I do have some questions about this letter that we have from Lac Willam's, and I wonder if staff can help us understand.
Ask away.
Maybe somebody could explain this to the public.
CAO Pucci.
Thank you, Mayor. So as part of our public disposition process, we received 2 separate letters from local LOMs. They are basically describing that the city has the duty of the Crown and that we have the duty to consult and the duty to accommodate associated with any land dispositions associated with municipal land or publicly held land. We have had legal review of this, and the legal review and discussions with the province of British Columbia as well. And the city of Prince Rupert at this point in current law does not have the duty to consult or the duty to accommodate. They encourage us to work with our neighboring nations in a collaborative way around notifications and opportunities. But the law currently stands that we have the community charter and the local government act that governs the way that we do land dispositions and how we operate and govern a municipality. So those are the ways that we will continue, or I recommend those are the way that we continue operating until such time as new law comes into effect that allows us to deviate from that. There is risk at this point deviating from the current system that's in place. Thank you.
So if I understand what I've heard, Lac Willam's has sent a letter saying that they believe that we have not followed the correct process. And we are hearing that staff believe we are. Is that accurate?
Yeah, and I would say more than staff, the province of British Columbia, and I mean we follow community charter, the laws that we're not handling the sale of this land in any other way other than the way we always handle the sale of land. Lac Willam's is making a point, and God bless them, they're more than welcome to pursue that. But at this point in time, it's certainly we've been advised that we need to follow the existing law, which is the community charter, municipal act, and so that is the process that we are on right now.
So the only feedback we've received from anyone in the public on the sale of all of these properties is this letter from Lac Willam's and the letter we received from the owners of Dolly's. Is that correct?
CEO Pucci.
Yes, so there were several, you have in your package several emails and communications from the owner of Dolly's and then the 2 letters from Lac Willam's. Okay.
Does anybody have a guesstimate how many times in the last, say, 10, 15 years we have had a situation like this where a property, this entire type situation, where we've got a property for sale, we've got a party that believes that they already were working on a deal, whether it had been 2 years, 3 years, 10 years, somebody is saying that they had a deal that they were working on. And we have another entity also saying you can't do this. Has this happened before? Is this new?
CEO Pucci.
Thank you, Mayor. I can't think of another property disposition that have had those 2 off the top of my head. We could have had something in the past, but not off the top of my head. Thank you.
I think I'll hold my questions. I know.
Yep.
Councillor
Councillor Cunningham.
I'll ask them both and then you can answer. One, we're selling this at market value. It's been appraised or assessed and we're selling it at market value. And the second question is, when you put an easement on a piece of property, it's legally binding, and if it gets sold, that easement goes with the sale, correct?
2 questions, CEO Pucci.
Thank you, Mayor. So correct, at market, appraised market value for the properties. And yes, when you do a reciprocal easement, it can't be taken off unless both parties agree to take it off. So both parties sign on it, both parties take it off.
So that easement then is for the whole lot, and it's not going to be built on, is what I'm getting at. It's going to remain the way it is. Can we get an answer to that?
CEO Pucci.
Thank you, Mayor. So my understanding, since it's a PID lot, is that that our proposal and the way that we're vending the property is that property continues the way it's acting today with a reciprocal easement on it. I don't think we have a no build covenant on it, but I mean, if it has a reciprocal easement on it, then that means that it has to be used for reciprocal easement passing and all of that moving forward.
So all I'm getting at is this easement, is it in place with the sale? Is it already being agreed upon?
CAO Pucci.
It is a condition of sale that we're putting on it. So there's a condition that has to be put on it, as well as the 2-year building permit process and the other conditions that were brought forward to this council that they have seen.
Councillor Ady.
With respect to the Lac Wallams letters, as I said previously, I don't think that we'll do justice to a legal debate, but I don't want to diminish the implications of a couple of questions that are implicit in those letters. They do have, I think, fairly profound implications for municipal government as it's currently practiced. And I think there's some disagreement on the definition of crown land in there as well. I can't find anywhere support for the notion that municipalities hold crown land, and much of the substance of the letters indicates that the land in question is crown land. So there's a disagreement there that would need resolution elsewhere. And as I said earlier, resolving those questions or getting answers to them is quite likely to be a time-consuming, a long process, which is why I say we can't stop governing because of them. I do wonder whether through you to the CEO, whether there's a benefit to encouraging him to continue to have conversations with the province around this issue so that we're as informed as we possibly can be. I'll leave that as a question.
No, I think we can take that up afterwards. Yeah. Councillor Randhawa.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. So my question is like, if we move on with this motion, like, and the land we sell, that revenue will go into the land sale reserve, right? If we sell that land, so that revenue will go into the land sale reserve, right?
Right.
And is it too early to ask that question? If that land developed, how much property tax will get? Or
So, CEO Pucci, the funds get transferred into the land bank, right? And taxes from the property, have we got an estimate of taxes that might flow from the development?
Unfortunately, we don't have that data today. We can get some of that for a future meeting.
It is worth pointing out, again, for members of the public, that when the municipality sells land, we're a different seller of land. We have different motivation, right? Yes, we want market value for the land, but the proposal that generates taxes, the municipality has the opportunity to earn additional revenues from the building, whatever gets constructed on the property. So there's a lot of incentive. It's one of the reasons we have the 2-year reverter, right? Is get on with it. Build something, because that cash flow is good for the community, and the activity on the property is good for the community, right? Yeah. Questions answered? Yeah. Councillor Forster.
Thank you. The member of the public that spoke asked about carving out 2 of the properties. I assume, and that's an assumption I'm making and I want to check in, that the agreement that is currently in front of us doesn't have the ability to carve out particular plots. Is that correct?
CAO Pucci.
Thank you, Mayor. My understanding is it doesn't, because of especially the area in the back is part of their Rona development. But the single parcel, I'm not 100% sure if they would be able to still complete their entire sort of
Vision.
development vision without all of them.
Okay, and so we've heard it a few times. I just want to be crystal clear. If we vote yes, they have to do things in 2 years.
Correct. They have
And-
to get to the building permit phase.
Okay, and if they don't, we give them their money back. What happens then?
CAO Pucci.
Thank you. That's correct. So we would give them their money back, and then we would then get all of the property back, and there wouldn't be any lift on that or anything. It would be a straight across.
Okay. And what is the risk to us delaying making this decision? The reason why I ask, I'm right on the line, 50-50. I have a lot of hesitancy about this. And so I want to understand whether or not there's an opportunity for all the parties to come together to talk about carving out those two properties. Is that so? That, do you see what I'm saying?
Yep. So that process
because
has taken place.
we haven't talked about that.
So the parties have met, and the parties have had their discussion. We delayed already a week in order to get to this special meeting. The risk is that time is money, and a developer walks away, and so you've got a party that's actually prepared to proceed and ready to go, and the risk is, in my view, twofold. One is that you throw cold water on that plan. Money goes somewhere else and gets invested differently. And that you also send a signal, I think, into the development community that says that we're not capable of moving ahead in a timely and efficient manner. And I think we've earned a better reputation than that, quite frankly, with the number of projects that have gone underway. And I think if I was to identify a risk, that's what I would identify. CAO Pucci, I don't know if you would add any more.
Thank you, Mayor. No, I think those are the risks there. I think also we're probably about a month, like we could have heard this about a month ago, or maybe even more than a month ago. We've delayed it 2 or 3 meetings to go through a proper consultation process and go through and talk with different people and have people meet. So I don't think there's any more that can happen after this by delaying it anymore.
I guess then for me, with all respect and encouragement to all the parties, I will be voting no.
Councillor Randawa.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. So like 2 years reverter clause, right? So in that time, if no development permit issued, or right, and do we have to the land come back to city? So we do have to pay all the money back to the purchase, or there's any fees city can keep that one for our all the processing and all the stuff.
Any of the fees that might have been incurred?
Yeah, so city can keep that fees.
Yeah, CAO Pucci.
Thank you. Just one clarifying point is that it's building permit, not development permit, that would have to be achieved. So that would mean a considerable investment by the developer to get their design drawings done and completed to submit for building permit. At this point, we don't have anything envisioned for that. In the past, we haven't put any sort of fees, but we can look to do that. I mean, we're still in the process of developing the purchase and sale agreement, so it'd have to be an agreeable clause that we put in there. But if council wishes for me to add that in there, then I can try and negotiate that.
Any other comments or questions? All in favor? Opposed? Register Councillor Forrester opposed. The motion passes. We'll move on. The next item is report from Recreation Community Services Manager with regards to recreation capital projects for 2026. Recommendation that council direct staff to reallocate funding for recreation capital projects as outlined in the report. Can I have a motion please to that effect? Councilors Randawa and Ady, any discussion? All in favor? Any opposed? It is carried. We have bylaws. We have bylaw highway road closure bylaw number 3657. Recommendation that council give fourth and final reading to highway road closure bylaw number 3657, 2025, subject to pending MOTT review. That's Ministry of Transportation review. Councilors Forrester and Councilor Niche, any discussion? All in favor? Any opposed? It is carried. We have the Good Neighbor Bylaw number 3558. Recommendation is the council give fourth and final reading to Good Neighbor Bylaw number 3558, 2025. Can I have a motion, please? Councilors Ady and Randawa, any discussion? All in favor? Any opposed? It is carried. Council Roundtable, any items you want to raise? Councilor Ady.
I'd just like to let people know that I spent Friday and Saturday at a conference intended to have a look at maternity services as they exist and as they are dreamt of being in Prince Rupert. It was a very positive couple of days. It was only tainted by the loss of the Canadian soccer team in the middle of the second morning. And as a part of that, I was able to present what council can do in terms of encouraging initiatives as they come our way. There was some conversation around the notion of accommodation provided for people coming in from outlying villages for maternity services. Obviously, that's an aspiration rather than an immediately practical outcome. But I was able to say that we can support these kinds of initiatives, and we can also play a role in terms of advocacy with senior levels of government. So I think it was a very positive event, and I'm glad that I attended.
Great. Councilor Forster.
Thanks, Mr. Mayor. I was honored to present the Sergeant William Booth Award for Valor to a young member of our community. I wonder if I could quickly read what I said on Canada Day.
Yeah.
So good evening, everyone. It is my privilege to present the Sergeant William Booth Award for Valor to an exceptional young member of our community, Sydney Wake. The Sergeant William Booth Award for Valor recognizes individuals who, through their own initiative or as member of a volunteer organization, demonstrate extraordinary humanitarian effort to help and protect others, often placing themselves at personal risk in the process. Sydney's actions last September exemplify the true meaning of this award. At just 18 years old, she encountered an individual experiencing a mental health crisis, and instead of assuming someone else would help, Sydney stepped forward with courage, compassion, and remarkable presence of mind. Her actions helped prevent what could have been a devastating loss, not only for that individual, but also for their family and loved ones. Communities are at their strongest when we look after one another, especially during life's most difficult moments. In Prince Rupert, we pride ourselves on being a community that cares, a place where neighbors support neighbors and where kindness and courage can make all the difference. Sydney's actions are a powerful reminder that every one of us has the ability to change the course of someone's life simply by choosing to care and choosing to act. True valor is not measured only by acts of physical bravery, it's also found in compassion, in selflessness, and in the willingness to stand beside someone when they need help the most. Sydney demonstrated all of these qualities with maturity well beyond her years. Her courage, empathy, and selfless actions are an inspiration to all of us, and on behalf of Mayor, Council, and our community, I was honored to present her with the award. So I just wanted to say thank you and pass that on for everyone who wasn't there at Canada Day. Yeah. This young person is going to do amazing things in the world. Thank you.
Thanks for doing that for us. Councillor Cunningham.
Okay, on the weekend, I attended a NCLGA directors meeting. And as NCGLA represents the largest mass of BC, pretty well the whole northern area, and it advocates at UBCM for this area, I brought up 2 points that I think are relevant to not just the area, but to us as residents of Prince Rupert. One is the Northern Rural Home Grant that the NDP government is talking about doing away with. And I brought it to everyone's attention that they should be talking to their MLAs, whether they're in power or not, to speak about that. And also the seemingly centralization of health services, with the big tower being built in Prince George and larger hospitals built as the spoke and hub theory that was branded a few years ago. And I brought to the point that there's areas like Prince Rupert that are a little different than the rest of northern BC, and we serve the coast in that. So the regional hospital in Prince Rupert is actually a regional hospital for the north coast. So they'll be looking into both of those and possibly speaking at UBCM about them.
Great, thank you. Anything else? I'd entertain a motion to adjourn. Councillors Forster, 80, all in favor? Any opposed? It is carried.